there was only two airlines that had an enormous increase in short selling before 9/11. One was precisely United Airlines. The other was American Airlines. The only two airlines that were involved with 9/11, United Airlines and American Airlines. Both companies had substantial short selling before 9/11. So much so that for about 1 month after 9/11, there was major articles in the financial press that suggested that somebody had had an insider knowledge, which allowed them to make substantial profits on the knowledge that 9/11 was going to happen, and that would immediately suggest that you could find out who knew about 9/11 before it happened, and therefore you could identify who did 9/11. So it was a major way in which, if you want to follow the money, you follow who's making a profit off 9/11, and therefore you can identify immediately, you could identify immediately who actually did 9/11. And there was some people who talked about, even billions of dollars being able to be made in insider trading, not just in those two stocks, but in several other stocks, and also in other companies around the world, and also in other financial instruments. In other words, people were talking about big money possibly being made on that day. It was major news. So you have to ask yourself the question, why were people so excited about it? I mean, some of the articles were really dramatic. And I think the reason is because they thought, I'm talking about these individual responses, they thought that Osama bin Laden was behind it, okay? And that it would point the finger immediately at him, and the case would be closed. These are not government people. These are people who work in the financial markets who perhaps have no information other than that. And they were told that Osama bin Laden was behind it. They figured, we can nail this guy. And that's why they got so excited about it, okay? I think that's important to know that, because suddenly the whole discussion gets turned off. And then you can ask the question why it gets turned off. That's related to the question about whether the SEC is investigating and so forth and so on, okay? But before we get to that point, okay, the discussion ended in about 1 month after it began. In other words, about in the middle of October of 2001, the issue was closed. Nobody talked about it anymore, okay? So why did that happen? Now, this is speculation, but I think the answer is that they simply found out very quickly that it would not lead to Osama bin Laden, and they shut down the whole discussion.